Hello and welcome to this week's tarot reading for all fire signs. I hope this finds you well. I trust you'll use your own intuition as your primary instrument of resonance. Leave behind what does not reverberate. Tarot does not tell the future. The only thing that determines your future is how you react, reflect, and respond to the messages herein. In front of me, I have the Guardians card from the Druid plant deck. I have the Four of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, the Ten of Wands. I have the Virgo and the Uranus card, and then I have Xenon from the periodic table, the number 54 from the periodic table. So if the number 54 means anything to you, the Guardians are three trees: birch, elder, and hawthorn, and they sit on the sacred pool. Water Pimpernel is the pool, and it is a place that the Druids really find sacred, for lack of a better term. And just looking at the Four of Pentacles and the Guardians and the Knight of Cups here, there's some sort of relationship that you're either protecting, or you're possibly like protecting your heart. And it's a kind of a struggle to open up with that Ten of Wands here. And you're really wanting to keep things on the surface level, especially with Virgo and Uranus here. Uranus is often depicted with Gaia or Terra, and also with Xenon here as well. Xenon is a interesting noble medium, a heavy noble medium actually, and he's in this in-between state. On this card, he's sitting inside a circle, and then above him is another circle, but that one is filled in. And it's like this disconnect, much like Virgo being the crust of the earth and then Uranus being the sky god, and how those two things intersect, that in-between state, and trying to almost keep them separated, or feeling that they need to be protected, or one needs to be protected over the other, whether that's your spiritual side needs to be protected from your material side, or your material side with the Four of Pentacles here needs to be protected from the Knight of Cups, the emotional side. And you're really just finding a little bit of a struggle here. And I think that the peace on this particular issue will come from sitting in that in-between state, and knowing that in that in-between state you can choose which place is appropriate to venture, whether that's the material side or the emotional and spiritual side, or the mental side with Uranus there. And this is another call to see where Virgo is showing up in your chart, what house, are there any planets in there, and to look forward to September. And Uranus as well. If you're into the Western astrology, you can see where Uranus is sitting in your chart and any aspects that are happening there. Uranus is actually in Taurus at the moment, in Western, and Mars is about to cross over the top of it, and Rahu is also sitting there. So there's a lot of transits happening around Uranus, a lot of not transits, transits, but activations, I should say, that is happening with Uranus here. And instead of just seeing all the weaknesses or all the flaws, or the weaknesses, because when we want to protect something, we see it as weak or not being able to withstand the environment, on the outside. And instead of focusing on that, the weaknesses, just focus on building that particular aspect of yourself up, building it so that you don't need to protect it, because sometimes protecting things, it becomes so laborious. So it's like, oh good, like, have you ever had a friend that I don't know, you perceive as like being an introvert or fragile or anxious or nervous or something, and when you take them to a party and then you spend the whole night, not necessarily protecting them, but kind of being next to them constantly, and it's almost like you're being weighed down by them. But if you just kind of let them go, just let them, do what they want to do, and you can go do what you want to do, it might surprise you that they flourish, or they find, someone that they can connect with, or maybe they just leave, and that's okay too. And knowing this about your own weaknesses, that sometimes protecting them is actually inhibiting their ability to be mended, to come into contact with things that can evolve them. And I'm still talking about this other person, as if your weakness is a person, but we kind of do that. So just realizing that sometimes protection is actually not beneficial for the overall organism here, and that you need exposure. You need exposure to be able to build up your immunity and to build up your strength. And Xenon, he's sitting in that circle, so he's kind of isolated. He's a bit of a hermit, and he's trying to detach from hostility and chaos on the outside, but that's all part of life. And that's kind of what I was getting at with that friend that you may have, that sometimes you have to allow them to experience it so that they understand themselves more, and they can build themselves up. So realizing that the earth and the sky are not mutually exclusive, especially when you see Uranus standing there with Terra or Gaia, and Uranus is, he comes from Gaia. So there is a part of the earth in the sky, as above, so below. I hope that you enjoyed your reading. Thank you for listening. Bye.